So I'm going to start by giving a history not only of Buffalo, but I think of countries across the world. Streets have historically been a place for people, framed by the surrounding buildings, rich in variation, detail, and beauty. A simple walk was rich in experience when you're out there. These places, where they still exist, hold a significant importance as a forum for the exchange of ideas and allowed a democracy to flourish in the beginning of the 20th century. Buffalo at the turn of the century had become a prominent hotbed in bicycling. There was over 300 businesses dedicated to the development and manufacture and sales of bicycles. We had many bicycling races where Major Taylor was the first African-American champion. We also had Susan B. Anthony identify the bicycle as one of the greatest emancipators of women, giving them the freedom of travel and self-reliance. Historically, our streets provided for a multitude of modes and activities. People were connected to the entire city by way of the streetcar system. It supported the economic vitality of the businesses, connected to the neighborhoods and our first-ring suburbs, and private developers paid for these connections to make their developments more attractive. In 1950, Buffalo's radial grid and street pattern, Olmsted's Park and Parkway system, connected the city. We're at a prominence over 500,000 in population, but this was also the beginning of when we started to look at how do we change to the future. So we started by cutting down the trees. We divided our neighborhoods in half. We took down buildings, and streets that once had these rich experiences for people became public utilities for private automobiles. So what was considered a move to the future in retrospect has had many negative unintended consequences for our city. If you look at downtown Buffalo today, we have the legacy of a lot of these past planning mistakes, tearing up blocks, tearing down buildings. You can see here that was the edge of the medical campus. And by the 1980s, we had devastated much of our city by putting in our interstate system, urban renewal. Much of that historic architecture, a lot of that legacy infrastructure was gone, all in the name of moving people as quickly as possible from point A to point B. Today's empty parking lots are not worthy tributes to the legacy of significant buildings that were demolished for the promise of a future prosperity. Here's what's left of the Larkin Administration Building, sitting next to a parking lot that is often sitting there empty. So what have we created? If you take a look at our streets today, this could be anywhere USA. This could be Amherst, this could be Minnesota, this could be California. Where is that uniqueness of place? Where is that rich experience? We have seen chain stores pop up, seas of parking, lack of access for all people in the community. Only those that can afford to own an automobile are able to get there. And this is what we're left with. Our continuing sprawl, even in a region with declining population, has left our neighborhoods divided and falling apart in disrepair, and oftentimes, not worthy of a second glance. So we continue to sprawl, though, even though we recognize a lot of these past planning legacies have had a significant impact. And the Department of Transportation, unfortunately, continues to keep trying the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. But we're seeing cities across the country that are supporting bicycling as a cost-effective means of building quality of life, preventing chronic disease, and providing equitable access for residents across all income and demographic groups. However, the challenge to get people out of their cars and into other modes of transportation is often safety. If we take a look at the safety issues that we're seeing, 15 people die every day in the United States that are bicyclists or pedestrian, and 342 people are injured. That's daily. If you look at that annually, that's over 5,000 deaths and 125,000 injuries, which eclipse the total amount of 9/11, but we don't build any memorials for people killed in auto accidents. So we're seeing places like this built. This is what DOT considers safe. Putting up a fluorescent pedestrian sign near a school and giving them 4 lanes of traffic to cross. But we're seeing a change in the way we design our streets. GOBike's effort and our mission is to make the city more bicycle friendly. And we're beginning by seeing efforts the city did downtown here in Delaware Avenue, reallocating the space between the curbs simply by using paint. Our complete streets policy that the city passed is changing people's behaviors. We're seeing more people out there throughout the year. And when you see cities that are developing infrastructure, supporting these behaviors. You see them using it on a consistent basis to matter the weather, because it's never bad weather, it's only bad attire. Even in Buffalo. And cities like Copenhagen that have similar weather patterns as Buffalo does have up to 40% of the people commuting to work by bike. And they've got to the point where they plow the bike lanes before they plow the streets. And so it's really building the case of a new Buffalo. What are our streets looking like? Are they multimodal? Are they connecting people to all places? Are they giving access for pedestrians, for cyclists? Are they giving access for people trying to get from point A to point B in other modes? We're at an opportunity in what many people are calling now New Buffalo to reimagine what this legacy of infrastructure has left us. This is Buffalo's Skyride. We shut down the Skyway this past year and had over 900 people crossing it for the first time to reimagine these spaces. And so bicycling is not the panacea. We don't believe that what we're doing is going to solve all problems, but it's part of the larger solution to build a quality life, create a sustainable future that supports the needs of all people, to bring back the daily rich experiences that can be shared with our greatest public assets, our streets.